and I had this dress on. We were sitting across the table like we're doing right now, and I was trying to be professional.
And that's the way love goes. It was a chance encounter and a sundress, and the rest is history, as they say. Hey everybody, welcome to week 2 of the Rewind here on the Pregame Show. Here's the rules of engagement. We take a look back at all of the stories of the week from football camp at the University of Colorado, and this week a few dinner dates as well, it seems. We'll have more on those two lovebirds a little later, but do us a favor. Set your homepage to thepregameshow.com and make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well, The Pregame Show. I'm Tolly Carr, and this man right here, is your favorite uncle, Uncle Neely, coming to you live from NYC, a boy from Mississippi in New York this weekend, celebrating 50 years of hip hop. What's up, Big Unc?
Hey, man, you nailed it. In NYC, but specifically the South Bronx, the birthplace of hip hop. Had to be here for this weekend, Tolly Carr. 50 is an amazing birthday, amazing milestone to reach. And hip hop turns 50 this weekend. So me and some best friends from high school, we made the journey to NYC from parts all across America to be here for this historic occasion in rap music.
All right, we're going to get more on hip-hop turning 50. We'll save that for a little later in the show. But right now, Neely, we got to jump in because we had quite a week of Celebrity 101 there in Boulder, Colorado. We had Urban Meyer. He was on campus making the rounds this week. You know, Meyer, he is a part of the Fox broadcast team. They're going to do a lot of Colorado games this year, so he needed to do some scouting for the broadcast. He was in on meetings this week, attended practice, very complimentary of Colorado during his media appearances after his visit. Neely, when it comes to college football, Urban Meyer, one of the greatest to do it. What type of vibes did he bring to campus during his visit this week?
He brought a calming presence, He was very stoic in the meetings, upbeat, when you talk to him one-on-one in group settings, but he was kind of a fly on the wall during the meetings and practice. But my biggest takeaway, Tolly, from his visit is what he said to the media after his visit. He said, hey, man, I was expecting to come here and just see all sizzle, no steak, just flash, just what Deion Sanders to be. But he left there knowing there's some serious football taking place in Boulder, Colorado, and the folks are going to be surprised at the talent level and the coaching level from Coach Prime and his assistant coaches that's taking place in Boulder.
So a really cool moment happened there as well. Let's get into it. So we had Coach Nick Williams. He had a very special reason he wanted to meet Coach Meyer because when Williams was a player at Georgia, Neely, he may or may not have taken a cheap shot on Tim Tebow. Meyer complained about this no call during said cheap shot, and he was fined about complaining about it. So Williams finally had a chance to come clean and apologize to Coach Meyer.
Back in 2008 to 2012, Neely, I played at the University of Georgia, and we went over to Florida to play them in the annual Georgia-Florida game. And Tebow was the quarterback. Chris Rainey was the running back. And I just remember it was read zone, and they handed the ball off. So Tebow was carrying out his fake like he was supposed to. And I came off the edge, and I cheap shotted him. He wasn't looking at me. I would have never done it. Tebow was looking at me, but he wasn't looking, and I cheap shotted him. Knocked him off his feet, and it was an illegal hit. And they were supposed to throw a personal foul, and they didn't. And I remember my coaches was mad at me too. It wasn't a good play, And I just remember the next week, Coach Myers turned the tape in the NCAA. And I was like, man, one day I'm gonna get a chance to meet Coach Meyer and tell him I'm sorry. I didn't mean nothing by it.
Hey, sorry's good, but how about that $30,000? Did he come clean on that, Neely?
No, Nick didn't handle the 30 bands. He left it just as the apology. But that, again, speaks to the staff that Coach Prime has assembled. Here's Nick Williams, one of the younger coaches on staff, played at the University of Georgia, been in big moments like that Georgia-Florida game, and went on to there to coach at Georgia, coaches Texas A&M, and now is with Coach Prime in Colorado. But you could just see him lighting up when he got to meet Urban Meyer. And I didn't know the story before they met, before I was standing there listening in on it. And that's why I got him to retell it again, because they kind of had a private moment about it. But Urban Meyer, remembered to play. remembered complaining to the refs and remembered the fine. And he said, "Was that you?" He's like, "Yep, that was me, coach." And I can acknowledge all these years later, they should have thrown the flag. It was an illegal hit.
Well, hopefully he bought Coach Meyer a cup of coffee or something. Treated them well there. 30 bands, that's a lot. All right, the celebrity train rolls on. One of the big names in Colorado football history when you look at tight ends is Daniel Graham. He was an All-American at tight end for the Buffs, first-round draft pick, Super Bowl champion. He played with Tom Brady, cover of Sports Illustrated. Look, an impeccable football resume. But until recently, the thrill was gone when it came to cheering for his alma mater. But as he tells our Uncle Neely, it's now prime time in Boulder.
Oh, man, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's definitely different from a spring game. A lot of different players out here, a lot of good players. So I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing.
Did you get a chance to look at the tight ends any?
Yeah, I've been over there looking at the tight ends. Got some work to do, but, I'm confident that, by the time the season starts, we'll be ready to go.
So as a player and alum, been here, done that at this university, what does it mean to you to see this enthusiasm, Coach Prime here, all that's going on to this season?
This means everything. It's been a long time since, we've been relevant, and for Coach Prime to come out here and put us back on the map, as an alumni speaking for the rest, we're all excited.
Neely, we've seen this in Jackson before, man. Look, the Stars like to return, and they love seeing what's happening, whether it was Jackson State, now Colorado.
Absolutely. And let me say this. What a great beard Daniel Graham has, man. That's an outstanding beard. And coming from a beard expert like myself, I can speak on beards. He's doing a great job at that thing. But, Graham has been back 2 times already. He was back for the spring game. And was not there just for one day. He was really taking his time, meeting with players, talking to coaches, getting re-immersed in the program. And he could see that difference between spring ball and as we're in fall camp. And he's excited about what he's seeing. And as the Mackey Award winner, played pro football at the highest level, played at one of the highest teams with the Patriots during their dynasty days. He knows what it's supposed to look like, and he's enthusiastic about what he's seeing there. And that's one of the things that you also give him, Coach Prime. There are a lot of former players at Colorado who, particularly black players at Colorado, who have not had, that welcome experience coming back, and they've really been enjoying this resurgence and coming to see Coach Prime and being around the program, whether it's Cordell Stewart or Michael Westbrook or Graham. These guys are coming back in droves from those 90s teams that were really dynamic in college football.
Neely, I hate to say it, but you are now my second favorite beard. So I'm sorry, brother. The great, he had that
I'm
thing.
with you.
That thing was smooth, man.
No, it's perfect, man. He got it nailed down.
Well, the rewind is not done with your celebrity news because just like a Boulder, they were rolling through Boulder. Let's check out Byron Leftwich now, a first-round draft pick, a Super Bowl champion, both as a player and a coach. He was a backup in Pittsburgh. I know you're thinking, what? When did he win a Super Bowl? Yeah, he got him one. And Neely, once again, it was proven that your favorite player's favorite player is Deion Sanders. Leftwich, the former quarterback, was fanning out meeting Deion Sanders. He had a lot of great things to say about the players. Once again, great media this week for Colorado, Neely.
Absolutely. Here you got a guy telling Coach Prime, man, I had your poster up and describing the poster. The one with Deion Sanders standing on top of the world, covering the land and letting God cover with water the rest of the earth. They had a special conversation, special couple of days there. The real takeaway, Tolly, was Byron Leftwich having lunch and then subsequently the next day at breakfast with Shedeur Sanders and being blown away with Shedeur's knowledge of offense and breaking down plays. It reminded me of the shows you used to see on ESPN where, the coach has the quarterback and makes him go to the board. And Shedeur was able to answer and describe and break down every play to Leftwich's satisfaction. And we got to keep in mind, Leftwich is not just a former player and done that. This guy was the offensive coordinator for the Bucs when Tom Brady was playing there. So he knows what it's supposed to look like as well, and was very complimentary of what he saw in Shedeur Sanders on the field and in the film room.
Heisman, Neely, we'll have to see how this how this year
That was a
goes.
good topic. That was a good one.
All right, look, if that was good, probably the most amazing thing I saw, Neely, from a visual standpoint that you had on our YouTube channel this week was the video of the players in the weight room as you follow Coach Williams around the locker room. I mean, Neely, we're going to have to give guys the play-by-play here for people watching. I mean, they were just throwing barbells around like it was nothing. So you got Shane Cokes coming up here. You know, he's like, you know, step aside, fellas. I got this. You know, he's got his teammates hyping him up here. Neely, this was impressive. Like, how much weight are we looking at there? How many plates are we looking at there? It looks like about.
Man, it's like Neely at a buffet. You can't count the plates. You got to just count the outcome because you won't be able to keep up with the number of plates. I don't know how many was on there, man. You got a 45-pound bar. You had about 4 45-pound plates on each side. And if you zoom in, you'll see those 20s on there as well. So he was throwing some weight around. But then another player stepped up. Chance Main stepped up and wanted to, you know, do his personal record. And he made it look effortless as well.
All right, so we got a personal record coming up. That's what we're going to see. All right, this guy's like, I got you on the pump fake. He's like, nah, not me. This guy's like, Thomas is like, I'll get you next time. Tell us about this guy right here on our screen, Neely.
Man, Chance Main, you know, people will remember him from Last Chance U. He's one of the guys from Last Chance U, and he is here making the most of his time with Coach Prime in Colorado. And you can see the excitement from the team. You can see how effortlessly he threw that weight up. Testament to Mo Williams. Mo Sims. Mo Williams is basketball. Mo Sims, our strength and conditioning coach, who came from Jackson State with Coach Prime. He got those guys ready all spring long, and they are throwing some weight around. And Tolly, think about this now. Their opponent on the side may weigh 315, 325, even 350, who knows? But they're throwing around 425. So I think they're going to be a strong defensive line, man.
You say that. Now I did see something on social media. TCU has a lineman. You have to look him up, Neely. That boy was 4 bills and some change.
Yeah, I think they got him at 455. You know, all he's got to do is just lean forward and fall on you. But if I can bench press 455, which I can't, some of those guys can, I think they're going to be able to move him as well.
Woo, that's what you call country strong right there, Neely. We know something about that.
Yeah, there wasn't no weight rooms in the country. That plow got you strong.
Yeah. You had to move some ox, some cows, something. All right, Neely, you know, the last couple of weeks, man, we talked a lot about defense. We talked about the offensive line. We talked about quarterbacks, wide receivers, but we haven't shown any love, not a lot of love to the running backs just yet. I'm going to get a reaction from you in just a second, Neely. But first, let's hear from Coach Flea. He talked about the running backs this week during a press conference and what they are expecting from those guys.
You know, we coach our guys as an offensive unit on the steps and how to get downhill, where to hit as far as the reads. And they got to be disciplined every play to get the play a chance. You know, we want to average 4 yards. So everything's aggressively downhill, aggressively seeking the end zone. But Alto and Smoke, they're close but not there yet. But Hank, Dylan, especially Charlie, they understand it more because they understand the language, they understand how we coach it. So we'll get those guys caught up to where they need to be.
All right. So, Neely, we heard a lot of names there that a new fan or a casual fan might not recognize. Who's the incumbent at that position, if there is one at all? And tell us about Charlie the walk-on. His name keeps coming up every week. I hear Charlie.
You know, the biggest takeaway from that, Tolly, is when you hear Coach Flea say so many names. You know, you'll have a running back room with, 10 guys in it, all fighting for a position. And Coach Flea is sitting there dropping 5 or 6 names back to back, who can carry that rock and get it done, all the way from, clear guys with experience, whether that's Savion Wilkerson from Jackson State or Alto or Smoke, who transferred in, to a walk-on like Charlie Offerdahl. Like, they're all getting reps in practice. And I believe you're going to all see them get game reps because they bring different dynamics to the team. You look at a Dylan Edwards, small guy who was originally going to Notre Dame, came to Colorado. You can't match his speed. You're going to see him, on screens and check downs. You're also going to see him in the return game because he's so dynamic. You got to get him on the field. And then the other backs have more of that 1-2 punch. Some of them are speedsters, some of them lower the shoulder and get through there. But what Charlie Offerdahl brings as a walk-on, he brings that energy to the locker room, the energy to the field. Coach Prime loves his work ethic. It matches his ability and personality. You are living Rudy all over again the movie Rudy when you see Offer Dog play.
You know, with that mustache, man, he kind of reminds me of that Disney movie that Marky Mark was in, Wahlberg, when he was whatever the guy from the Eagles. That I forgot the name of the movie, but he was like a long shot who made the NFL. But it definitely gives you those, Disney kind of Hollywood vibes there.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell Charlie he has a Tom Selleck mustache, and I had to remember how young these guys are. So he had to go Google Tom Selleck, but he knows who he is now.
He's like,
so now I can start calling him Magnum PI since he's actually up to speed on who it is.
Yeah, he's probably like, Mima used to watch Blue Bloods. Is that who you're talking about? Well, hey, speaking of age, this week Coach Prime celebrated his birthday, another trip around the sun for him. And for his special day, he had a special dinner with his special lady, Tracy Edmonds, and tagging along, playing the role of third wheel on the bicycle, Uncle Neely, all up in the video, dancing. But seriously, you do look like Suge Knight a little bit, though, Neely. Coach Prime keeps it transparent. He keeps it 100. And Miss Tracy, she's in the entertainment business, reality shows. So she, camera all at her dinner. It's all good there. But let's dissect this just in a minute, Neely, me and you. But first, let's get to the goods. We've got to let the people hear just a snippet of how Coach Prime and Tracy Edmonds first met.
Do you remember? So the very first time I ever saw him in person was at the after party for Jumping the Broom in Dallas, Texas. And so I was walking into the after party, and I was with one of my cast members and stuff, and I saw Deion coming up. And I'm like, wow.
Clean.
And I always thought he was kind of good looking. I have to admit that. So this was my first time that I had a chance to meet him. And he was clean, he was looking good, he had one of his suits on and stuff. Yep. Confident. So I had to walk towards him and make a decision, like if I was gonna say hi, what was I gonna say? So I stopped and I said, hi. I said, I'm Tracy. And
I'm him. And I'm him. I'm him. And I said to myself, you know what I know? You don't want to mess with this.
So we met, and I didn't know how to say goodbye because he didn't have much to say. And so I was like, well, it was nice meeting you. And then I started walking past him. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to peek back and see if he's looking at all and see what he looks like. So I peeked back.
And when she peeked back, I said,
he caught me.
got him.
He caught me peeking at him. And I was like, darn it, he saw me.
Got him.
I was busted. I was caught.
Now, that is a reason to be all up in the video dancing right there. I don't want to come off wrong, man. Coach Prime, let me fit wherever you are, Coach Prime. Boom. Woo, Neely. If any time in my life that I can recall a woman looking back and seeing that I was, checking her, all I got was the stink face. Look at her. This man just gets one of the most beautiful women we've ever seen. Oh, boy. But that's a great, all seriousness, that's a great relationship, Neely. You get to see it more than other people. Man, they've been through a lot together, and you can see the sparkle in both of their eyes.
Absolutely, and it's not a put on for the cameras. They're like that where there's cameras around, rolling or not. They got a genuine relationship, genuine admiration for each other. So much so it was Coach Prime's birthday, but he wanted to make the birthday about her. So even the dinner menu was made up of things that she likes versus things that he likes, and so you could tell that. The chemistry and just as much clicking now as they were then. Tell you what was amazing to me, Tolly, is, she's in the same dress from years ago. She can still fit it. Most people can't even wear clothes that they had on 5, 6, or 10 years ago, but she's still in it. And again, their chemistry is off the charts, man. Finish each other's sentences. She loves his sense of humor. People get a real appreciation, particularly when she's around, how funny Coach Prime is in a relationship level. You know, you talked about you start doing the old, high school, junior high cheer rock steady where you passed it to the next person. You know, so he was happy that she looked back at him.
I would say so. You got to check out that full video. That was just a snippet. I mean, those two together, man, it is hilarious. So make sure you go to the Pregame Show YouTube channel. Not only go there, make sure you like, subscribe, handle all the business that you need to do, and then go to our website, thepregameshow.com. You see it right there. Look, right there. There it is. All right, Neely, before we go, hip hop turns 50 this weekend. You are in New York City. I will not ask you the same old tired questions. Who's the best rapper of all time? I will ask you something hopefully a little more interesting. What is your favorite era? If you could put, a little 2 to 3 year stretch of hip hop, what was your favorite 2 to 3 years that you were just like, man, you were just fully 10 toes down in the zone?
So I'm going to stretch it a little bit, Tolly. I'm going to go with 5-year window. In the 50 years of hip hop, give me 1988 to 1993. You give me that 5-year run, it's going to give me Public Enemy at their height. It's going to give me Boogie Down Productions. It's going to bring in West Coast with NWA. It's going to bring in Tribe Called Quest and Poor Righteous Teachers. It's going to even bring in that Miami bass that Luke Skywalker put on the map. So you give me that 5-year, 88 to 93, and you got hip hop all you want.
See, I'm with you. I'm a little sooner. I was about 86 to 88. There was one summer, man, we listened to the Beastie Boys and played Super Mario Brothers every single day. LL Cool J. I love Public Enemy, but I have a special place in my heart when they were the early stages of Public Enemy. Big Daddy Kane, Boogie Down Productions. So I'm right there with you, just a few years sooner.
Yeah, but Tolly, that's why I couldn't. I've been in it since it started emerging. But that's why I go with the window I went with, because it's still going to give me my Run DMC and my Beastie Boys and Houdini, guys who had started all are still doing it in the late 80s. But if I start too soon and cut it off too soon, I miss some of those transitions and impact of hip hop. So I'm going to stand with my 88 to 93.
But for me, the early 90s, we did have some weird acts in there. You had the Grave Diggers. You remember that? There was that 6-month window where they were trying to do like horror rap.
Yeah.
And that's
but Tolly, you got to keep this in mind now, because you're looking at it with your gray hair eyes. Ooh. You got to look at it in the era.
Ooh.
Look how weird Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel were when they were on the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leather pants with zippers, feathers everywhere. Like they look like the Village People almost. but it wasn't weird then. It was a pillar, a cornerstone. Everything was built off it. So, hey, man, all rap matters. Hip hop is a mofo. 50 years.
All right. And instead of your favorite rapper, your favorite group, what is your favorite group of all time?
I can't pick one, man. I got to give you two, because I got to go with Run DMC, who are just the godfathers, grandfathers of it all. But I have to go with Public Enemy as well.
Very strong, very strong.
Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart for Outkast. I just can't go. I've got to go with Outkast there. But again, I love many, just like you do. All right, last one. As hip hop celebrates 50 this weekend, what is the one verse, like 2 or 3 sentences, that you will just randomly out of nowhere just blurt out and rap like all the time?
Well, I know you like to call me Uncle Neely, and everybody calls me Neely. Very few people realize and understand that my first name is Chris. So I'm going to go with my philosophy, 1988, KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions, when he said, how many MCs must get dissed before somebody says don't, with Chris.
I like that. That is in your lane right there. For some reason, I am huge Tupac. For some reason, out of nowhere, every other day I say thought it was, but it wasn't. And it can have nothing to do with anything that's going on, but that line is in my head. I'll just be sitting there, thought it was, but it wasn't.
I love it.
All right.
Hey, we should get Pregame Show coffee mugs One with your side, your face. Thought it was what it was. The other side, my face. Don't bleep with Chris.
I will drink coffee from that all day long. All right, man. Look, enjoy your weekend. Hip Hop is 50. Mississippi boy in NYC. It doesn't get any better than that. We'll be back for another week. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel and the website, and we'll catch you on episode 3 of the Pregame Show Rewind next weekend. Have a great one. We'll see you guys later.